challengernews.com. And now it's time to roll on to our special guest that we have coming into the studio. And we have, here we go. And we have head coach of Monroe High School football team, the all Greater Rochester Coach of the Year, and also the Buffalo Bills named the Class B Coach of the Year throughout the Regional Coach of the Year in Class B football. But we really know they played at an A level all year long. Let's welcome head coach Terrell Cunningham to the show. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Coach.
Yes, Coach Cunningham, thank you for coming on Real Deal Sports Show. And can you tell us about your team, your co-players of the year, Robert Arnold and Kyer Moses? They both were named co-players of the year through the All Greater Rochester. Can you tell us a little about those guys?
Yeah, Kyer Moses, quarterback. He ended up breaking a Section 5 touchdown record for the most touchdown passes in the season with 38. I believe, and then Robert Arnold, I believe, was top 2 in the state with 23 and a half sacks. Both great young men, both seniors. They pretty much did everything we asked them to do. These young men, they work hard. We get after it in practice, and they were able to display on game day, all the work we put in. So I was very proud to coach these 2 young men. They're both seniors. Right now, we're looking at next level opportunities for both of them at the collegiate level, and that's where we at so far.
Yes, indeed. And you had a shutdown corner that I was because half of it. It's amazing. I haven't seen this in all the years I've been covering in football and high school and the college and pro. And looking at the section. Here, the page is this covered with Monroe football players. How were you able to assemble so much talent on one team and keep them, and then the best secret, keep them together like this?
Honestly, we have a group of young men that, high school football, the season starts in August and then usually goes to about November. If you're lucky, you sneak into like that first week of December, which is, we were 1 week short of that this year. But for us, we don't take that approach. We take a holistic approach, meaning, literally we lost last year, the year before, in a sectional championship game to Batavia, and we were right after it the 2 weeks later. We literally invest 11 months out the year of preparing ourselves for essentially 3.5 months of football. We harp on all the time that, we try to get across to our guys, like, listen, we got 11 months to prepare for 8 regular season games and then the playoff run. Majority of our guys, they train together. They've been working together, most of them since 12, 11 years old. We were just in a position to whereas we have programs and opportunities at Monroe or the Road that allows for student athletes to be just that and to not only utilize their athletic ability, but to put a lot of that into the classrooms and the classes as well as the coursework to be successful as a student and athlete.
Yes, indeed. I see you have several young. You had one man, Styles McKenzie Baker. Is that a misprint? They said he had only 1 pass reception allowed. Was that for the entire season?
Yeah, the whole season.
Oh my God!
We gave up 1 touchdown in the regular season. That 1 touchdown was the 1 catch he gave up the entire season. And that's over 12 games. Styles this kid is going to be a 5-year varsity player. He started on varsity as an 8th grader. Ironically, you can hop my fence in my backyard and be at his house. He lives around the corner. Great young man, great scholar athlete. I believe he just got a scholar athlete for one of the news channels just last week. Hard worker. Right now he's doing indoor track. Probably the best technician corner in Section 5, without a doubt. The young man is he's what you look for when you talk about technique and ability as a corner. It's kind of late in the game, but if that young man gets an inch or two, he definitely can play high-level football. But, just as a defense, like I said, we gave up 6 points this year in the regular season. We finished the season only allowing 41 points, and we scored almost 400. Of that 41, 29 came in the championship game.
Exactly.
So I'm sorry, in the state semifinals game. So we definitely defensively did a lot of great things, which I've never seen in my 34 years of being around Rochester or even in the state for that matter.
No doubt, Coach. You and me, we're on the wavelength right here, man. And so I want to reach out to you in particular about that Maine Indian semifinal game at Syracuse Cicero High School. Like you said, man, really beyond that game, you gave up 12 points. Listening audience, I want to make sure y'all hear that. Monroe High School gave up 12 points throughout the entire season coming into that Maine Indian game. And to say y'all gave up 29 points. So obviously they figured out something. Talk to us. Put us behind the curtain. What was going on in that game? Obviously, that game was atypical and the anomaly out of all your games played. What was going on in that game?
Man, it's a great program. Going into the game, I believe they've won like 7 state championships over the past maybe 15 years, 20 years. They're always there. They got there this year. They ended up losing to another good team in Rye. But they run that old school double wing type of offense. And it's something that if you aren't used to seeing it consistently, it takes a while to kind of get the hang of it. In this day and age, everything is spread football, shotgun, pistol, 4 receivers on the field. Whereas these guys, if I'm not mistaken, they might have completed 1 pass the whole game. It's a lot of illusion and different backfield action and stuff like that. So it took us a little while to they jumped out. They were up 14-0 to start the game. They took a pick 6 to the crib, and then they had a 30-yard drive. We didn't put ourselves in a great position, field position wise. So they ended up scoring, and they were up 14-0 to start the game. That was on like the first maybe 5 minutes. Our boys kind of adjusted. We made some, positional changes, and then we ended up going in the half 18-14. Third quarter, they came out. They made some more adjustments, some check with me stuff at the line of scrimmage, which led to them scoring again. And then we ended up getting a safety, and then we essentially scored. Then, we had a 2-point conversion, which probably should have been good, but it was caught. Not good, and long story short, we honestly ran out of time. Definitely, like I said, it was a great season. I mean, it was a great program. I look forward to seeing them again over these next few years, though.
Absolutely, Coach. When I look at your staff, you know what I mean? Guys like Greg Hopkins, guys like obviously yourself. What really went into building that staff, and what kind of energy do you guys bring to that team? Because just the culture that you've created has just been impeccable. So what went into that staff that you built?
Highly competitive. So, I was on the Monroe staff since 2018, 2019. I was the defensive coordinator. At the time, my offensive coordinator, who was the principal now, who was my high school coach, Mr. Jason Muhammad, he would always say, one day I'm going to end up working for you. And this was going back to high school. He's like, you're going to come back home after college, and I'm going to end up working for you. I'm going to be your OC. So long story short, once COVID hit, there were some transitions in the school, and he essentially went from administrator to principal. So, and this was honestly around the time I was honestly considering, just being a parent, just kind of stepping away from football and just seeing how things were going with my children. So he was like, well, me going into a principal role, I can't be the head coach. So I would need you to become the head coach. So 2020, 2021, they had like that spring season and then pick back up in the fall. So, one of the things that I said when I told him, I'll take the position is, I want to bring in my guys. Greg is a guy who, believe it or not, I've known since my son was maybe 5 years old. I also coach basketball. So at 121 Lincoln, which is CTC, where we practice and stuff down the hall, my big brother, James Reeves, we had our basketball program at the end of the hallway. So I would be at basketball practice and I would drop my son off at CTC with Coach Hopkins. So long story short, over the years, we would just build that that football bond. And you know, it was a situation for me where, as a coach and as a professional, sometimes a lot of people get in a situation where they're comfortable and they don't want essentially their workers to challenge or question them. Me personally, I don't believe that you can grow as a person, as a coach, if that's the kind of people you surround yourself with. Our practices and game days were, I'm gonna say, extremely interactive on our sideline. We would be up 40, 50 points, but you would see us as coaches positively engaging each other about what we can do better or what it should be. Practices, be honest, practices for us were game-like. To the point where, you know, you have half the staff on one end and the other staff on the other side, and it was so highly competitive because you got a bunch of ex-college athletes, guys who love the game of football, battling it out, putting guys in position to the point where everybody wanted to show what their worth was and how much knowledge in football they have within the context of our scheme. So, you know, I brought on Greg. My first hire was actually my brother Bruce Blue, played at Edison. Honestly, for me, he's probably one of the top city players to come out of Rochester from Edison. He played back. He was a little before Cosin. They had like maybe a year or so crossover when Jason Cosin was at Edison, running back. But in my opinion, Bruce probably the most dominant player I've ever seen in high school as a young kid. So I brought him on. He took over my D-line. And then the following year, I brought on Coach Hopkins, Coach Mel, Coach Craig, Coach Will, Baker McKenzie, which is Styles' older brother. I already had Coach Omar, Coach Morrison, Coach Mathis, and Coach Muhammad. And then we just kind of put everything together. And like I said, it was a lot of heated moments.
I believe it.
Like daily.
Strong personalities.
Yeah, man. But for me, again, it was getting people out their comfort zone. And I'm a firm believer, and I tell my son all the time, you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I believe that the players, they kind of felt that same type of energy and that same type of basic passion. And then, like I said, games were just easy. The games were easy. Man, we had some highly competitive young men that matched our energy, and that's all you ask for as a coach.
Absolutely. And also, I look at a team like, you know, the dominance that you've displayed over this season is similar to an NFL comparison like the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, that's the talk I like to hear. Yep, go ahead.
Well, I see how you know, unified they are, how tough-minded they are. And you know, I've gotten a chance to look inside the locker room and see how they put their faith at the forefront. Does faith play a role at all in your program?
So, you know, we definitely, you know, we always try to, you know, get across to our guys that there's things that's bigger than football. And, you know, faith in whoever it is you believe in is always something that should be at your forefront. You know, me, I've been a Ravens fan since '99. You know, let it tell people since his buddy jumped in the limo with Ray Lewis, I've been a Ravens fan. You know, essentially as a kid, you know, because, you know, Ray Lewis is all you heard about. It's like, why is this dude in the news? And then you see the highlights. So it's like, oh, I see why. And growing up being a defensive player, it was like, yo, this is what football is. And one thing, you know, if you know anything about Ray Lewis and the Ravens, that brother was always praising and giving, you know, proper shout outs to the man above. And, you know, I would always joke with my team throughout the year. And all my coaches know what time it is with regard to how I feel about the Ravens. It's like, you know, this is what I'm trying to build.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I want us to be in a position to where defensively, you know, dudes remember us for the rest of history, the same way they talk about that 2000 Ravens team. But definitely, you know, having faith. I know for me, you know, every game, if you watch during the national anthem, I'm praying. It's a part of the game. You know, you don't pray to win or lose. It's more so, you know, for everybody to remain healthy, for guys to execute, and, you know, just to go over everybody. You know, it's crazy times, a lot of stuff that's happening in our city and around the world. You know, you just pay for the safety and just, you know, all those types of things.
Absolutely, Coach. And I see everything from what you're saying about the coaches and also uplifting your players. And I see several of your players talking about college and their future. Zeal Wilson say he plans to become a general surgeon or possibly a neurosurgeon. So you got your young guys reaching for the stars, I see. You got them education. And how's the graduation rate going for the football team?
So this year we will graduate 14 seniors.
Nice.
I believe 14 seniors. But that might be 13 seniors. And the goal is honestly opportunities. One thing you will always hear from me is, I've never been big on that D1 or bust mentality. I feel like that kind of hurts more young men than helps when they get their goals set so high. I only want to go Division I. I only want to go Division I. And then that may not happen for a bunch of different reasons, and they don't want to go to school at all. I was fortunate enough to be a pretty good high school player. That I was able to go on to college, end up going Division III and being a 4-year starter. And, receiving accolades and first team, all team, and all those good things. And just being able to do that and playing at a high level, to me, I know that did more for me than possibly going to take a walk on and go Division I and not seeing the field. Right. So for me, I tell my guys and I tell my parents, my goal is to open up doors and give your young man an opportunity. The one thing I don't push is colleges for everybody. Because unfortunately, we know that may not be the case. Everybody's circumstances and everybody learns differently. I have some young men, 2 in particular, that will be finishing up. They don't want to go to college. They say, I want to get into trades. And the last thing I'm going to do is say, no, don't do that. You need to go to school. So my thing is keep your options open. But if you want to get into trades, then here, I'm going to give you a list of opportunities that you can sign up for so that you can be a productive citizen and that you can be successful in life. If you want to get back into coaching, I'll help you with that as well. But it's just about creating opportunities for guys that unfortunately wouldn't have gotten had they not been at the road. That's just what it is. So I believe that, through my years of playing and coaching, I've created enough relationships with coaches that's in the area at the college level that will take my word on a young man's character and the playing ability that all my guys that want to go to college that's graduating this year will be in college. That's just without a doubt. They put themselves in positions academically and athletically to be able to get to that point. And that's one thing I'm proud of. And the guys that like Nas and Kaya, these are 4.0, 4.3 GPA kids. I've known Nas since he was a little youngster playing for the Hurricanes. And, this young man has always been the focused, driven athlete, and definitely in the classroom, come from great parents. Just the kid can do whatever he wants to do. We find out after the season, the young man basically was playing with a dang near torn ACL. And it's like, my man, you had 20-some tackles against Maine and well. But, he was that kind of dude. And, I'm definitely going to miss that young man. I'm going to miss all my seniors. Yep. We've had some good times over these years, but it's definitely next man up. And I got some young boys that's looking to show everybody what they can do.
Absolutely, Coach. And thank you so much for coming on Real Deal Sports Show. And definitely, I tell you what, you got a lot of memories that nothing can be taken away from you guys. So you got a lot of history. I'm sure these guys, when they get older, will come back to the program, be able to talk to the kids there 5 to maybe even 10 years down the road of what it was like and how that continued to bring this type of successful program here in the Rochester, New York area. Congratulations to yourself and your entire team. And also Jason Muhammad. I remember when he was a hell of a head coach over there at Marshall High School with Austin. He had Ashton Broad. You told him I said hello. The Red Man says hello to him because I used to interview him and Ashton. That Marshall team was a dominant team back at that time. It seemed like only yesterday, but man, the years do go by. And
hey, hold on, because Ashton was elite. Ashton was great, but 06, my senior year at the team, I was the captain. Or we the one that won sectionals.
And
which game was that?
That was the 06 team. We're the ones that went to the state semifinals in 2006, 2007. My senior year, I was the captain on that team.
Talk that talk, Coach. Let them know what it is.
So it's but Ashton, in my opinion, that kid's probably the toughest athlete to come through the area. Section 5, definitely still a good friend to this day. But they didn't get as far as we did in 06. We tried to set the tone for them. But he ended up getting the state championship later on in his career. But as far as Marshall go, I believe that 06 team, I think we went the furthest.
Well, thank you so much for letting me know, man. Because I probably could have followed you, interviewed you, and didn't even know it. Because I know I followed that team as interviewed and for that coach, Jason Muhammad, at that time period. So congratulations on that 06. And we're going to have you back on again next year, definitely, to let us know what's going on over there at Monroe. One of Rochester's best kept secrets.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Coach.